Alright guys, so this is going to be a pretty unique Patreon request for two reasons. One, it's going to be a Patreon request that comes from my good friend Chris, aka the Mount Vernon Kid. Chris, thank you once again. And we got an unboxing video. It was actually, I was just about to do this Patreon request, and then he sent me a message like, hey, check your mail real quick, and I found these packages. Now, I believe this is the start of the Marvel packaging, the Marvel haul he told me about, so thank you so much, brother. This is really awesome. It wasn't a lot enough, like, this is the start of it, so it wasn't enough to do, like, a whole video, but I figured, hey, since I'm doing a video already on it, and it's his Patreon request, why not do an unboxing / Patreon request, all in one? So let's get started, with the unboxing. It's like early Christmas, I swear. Oh, we got two books. So first off, we got Jessica Jones, The Variants, by Gail Simone. We also have Joe Fixit, the Peter David miniseries. I'm kind of speed running because we got another video to do. Alright, we got... Oh! Got a comic and a Blu-ray. Oh, we got Blu-ray of Dog Soldiers. This is my favorite werewolf movie, one of my favorite movies in general, and I've never owned a Blu-ray. I've never gotten the action. I could never find a Blu-ray or DVD of this movie. So thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. This is awesome. And on top of that, we have Captain America: Sentinel of Liberty. This is from the Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanning comic series that ended in Cold War. So that's going to be really cool. And finally, for this one, all right. Let's see. Oh, more Blu-rays and a comic. All right, come here. So we got the first volume of Jerry Duggan's Iron Man run. I've heard nothing but good things, and Chris assures me that I'm going to like this, so I'm looking forward to it. And we have a Blu-ray of a movie called The Monster. From what I remember, because I feel like I've seen this once, it was a movie involving a little girl and her alcoholic mom encountering some kind of creature. It's from the director of The Strangers, one of my favorite movies, so that's really cool, man. I think that's really awesome. Yeah, this is going right into the collection, and yeah, so that's the start of the Marvel haul. We got Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Jessica Jones. That's not a great start. I think Chris said there's going to be like close to like, I think it was like 18, 20 books, somewhere in that ballpark. But yeah, so thank you so much, Chris, for the comics. I'm gonna be reading these soon, but yeah. So let's actually get into, speaking of Chris, this is, hopefully you enjoyed this Patreon request. As you can see from the title, this is gonna be a Doctor Who Tenchi Muyo crossover. But as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, let's get started. So the story actually begins in, the Doctor in the TARDIS. It's where most Doctor Who stories begin. In here, the Doctor's just kind of like, I need a little vacation, and he's like, why did I say that out loud? Whenever I say I need a vacation, I get instantly thrown into shenanigans, and sure enough, shenanigans ensue because what happens is, the Doctor feels the TARDIS suddenly getting pulled. And it's weird because nothing in the universe can pull the TARDIS. Like, nothing can, like, yank the TARDIS from its designated position. So he's like, I feel like like he's using all of the gadgets, every nook and cranny, every knob and lever to try to pull back like whatever's got the TARDIS. And it's like, I feel like a fish on a hook. What's going on? Until eventually the TARDIS gets yanked to wherever it's through time and space to its destination. So the Doctor feels like the TARDIS getting parked, and he's just kind of like, well, this is going to be awkward. And for Witch Doctor, oh, let's say 10. We always love a good David Tennant story. So the doctor's just like, you know, I'm just going to go out there, I'm going to see what's going on. Pokes his head out, and he's in a laboratory. But not anyone's laboratory. It is Washu's laboratory. And Washu is just like, hi, Doc. Been a while. And he's like, you. So he comes flying out. He's like, I've told you to stay away from me. I have told you to keep away from me. And you purposely pulled me from, through time and space. You know how dangerous that is? Do you know what you've done, what you could do to the damage you could do to the time stream? Seriously, you have no responsibilities, and you're a fucking goddess. You're an actual god. For all intents and purposes, you are God. And she's like, yeah, therefore I can break the rules and make the rules as I see fit. And he's like, fine, whatever. What do you want, Washu? Like, what has compelled you to pull me through time and space to talk to you of all people? And she just goes, listen, I need your help for a second, because basically Washu has discovered during her some of her research, she's discovered like there's a fissure in time, like there's this little crack in time, and she doesn't know where it is. It's like a leak. It's like trying to find a leak in your sink. It's like trying to find where the leak started in your pipes, and she can't figure it out. So she's like, I need, time travel is something I've dabbled in, but I've never really had I've never really been all for it. Like, I've never been like, it's never been my full forte, and I've tried looking for this fissure in time, but I can't seem to find it. So I need your help, since wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff is your spiel. Like, could use your help here, bro. So the doctor's like, oh, fine, get in the TARDIS. So Washu goes in, and she's like, oh, you were decorated. I absolutely fucking hate it. Because they never like it. They never like it. So the doctor's like, do you have any leads on where this fissure could be? Like, do you have any idea where it ruptured? And she's like, all I know is it's somewhere in the time stream. He's like, oh, well, that's helpful. And she's like, well, I got some data to see where it can start. And sure enough, before they can do anything, that's when a fucking T-Rex comes tearing through the Masaki house. And not only a T-Rex, but a T-Rex being ridden on by a Roman general leading an army of like cavemen and World War II soldiers. And they're like, well, this is going to end very badly. So the Masaki house is just kind of left under siege by all these people, while the Doctor and Washu take off and try to find where this fissure in time is. And he's just like, do you know how hard, the doctor's like, do you know how hard it is to cause like a fissure like that? He's like, that hasn't been seen since, a open wound. It's like an open wound, and it's gonna keep bleeding till we fix it. Those haven't existed since, and she goes, the Time War. And he's like, yeah, the Time War. Something you would know about. And she's like, Washu basically is like, let's just get this out of the way right now. You have no right to be angry at me. I told the Time Lords to their faces I wasn't going to intervene. Like, he's like, you could have turned the tide in that war, but you just decided, because you're God, that it's beneath you to get into a war that killed millions. And she goes, the way I see it, it sounded like you started off that way too. And he's just like, you have no idea what that war made my people. And she's like, didn't change what was already there. So the doctor's just furious at her, but meanwhile they're seeing like the fissure is growing and causing more cracks in the time stream, as they're seeing like history like blurring. They're going through time and like seeing how time itself is like blurring and changing, and just kind of ripping apart again and again and again. They have to find it, but the thing is like, when they locate it, it's discovered that someone did cause a fissure in time. And it was two people, Kagato and the Master. And it's like Anthony Ainley Master, and he's like, "Ah, Doctor, I was told that I would see a different variant of you." And he's like, "You? Like, specifically you?" Oh, gotta say, you were my, like, I have got to say, you, out of all the masters, you were my master, you were my favorite master. And Washi's like, girls, you're both very pretty. Can we figure out what the fuck, can we stop these guys? And Kagato is just like he just explains everything. Like, the master came to me because I had the technology to locate a weak point in time. And basically, like, we're going to cause this fissure to happen, and it's going to cause a bleed out of time and rewrite everything. And we can rewrite history as we see fit and become the new gods of this world. And the master's like, he thinks it's going to be a we. And he's like, yeah, it's going to be me. And the Kagato's like, I'm not an idiot. I knew you were going to betray me. So the master tries to turn on Kagato, and those two get into a fight. And they're like, well, the Washu and the Doctor are like, oh, well, that saved us a lot of trouble. Let's fix that fissure. So Washu and the Doctor start like trying to put things back together as the Master and Kagato try to fight their way through, until Kagato like picks up the Master, just throws him into the fissure, and is like, have fun being ripped apart again and again and again for a couple of millennia. And the Doctor at that point is like, why don't you join him? And like pushes Kagato through it too, allowing Washu enough time to like seal up the fissure. And she's like, they'll come back, right? And he's like, they always do. They always find a way out. But let the void of outside of time and space be a personal hell for him for a bit. So the Doctor and Washu part way, like, he drops her back off at the Masaki house because time's reset and all of that never happened. And she's just like, she's like, I'm sorry. She actually says, for what it's worth, I'm sorry I didn't intervene during the Time War, but I've lost enough, and I couldn't bear to like be a part. I couldn't bear to be a warrior again. And he goes, yeah, I just needed someone to be angry at. I still don't like you. And he's like, right back at you. So the Doctor leaves and goes on his merry way, and Washu just goes back to her research. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much the Doctor Who Tenchi Muyo crossover. It really focuses on Washu and the Doctor specifically. I felt like those two really mattered. But yeah, once again, I'd like to thank Mount Vernon Kid for sending me this Patreon request, and thank you for the comics. I know the start of this video was an unboxing, but hey, why not? It's my channel, my rules. So, once again, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the 3rd tier. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.